All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another TI testimony. We have Nicole here, and she's going to give her testimony. If you'd like to give your testimony, you can go to tichats.com, our new social network and chat website, slash testimonies. Take it away, Nicole. Want to just introduce yourself?
Well, my name's Nicole, and I'm a targeted. I've been targeted for a few years now. And whatever questions you have to ask me, I'm willing to, answer them so I can help anybody else out that's going through this nightmare of a smear campaign slash whatever hellish nightmare you want to call it. But to me, it's just been a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely a nightmare, and you're not alone. We're both, you know, accompanied by, I believe, over tens of millions of different targets now. I'm not sure the actual numbers of targets there are, but it seems to be in the over tens of millions now worldwide. But
Well, I don't understand where are all these people at, because when you're targeted, I don't see any of them. Like if I go outside and protest about gang stalking and try to spread awareness, I feel like I'm by myself alone. I don't see anybody else that's saying that they're actually going through this program, or I don't never hear anybody else say that they're actually being gang stalked. Maybe except one time, a lady on my job told me that she was being gang stalked. So right away, I knew what she was talking about. But where's everybody at? If this is happening to people, where are the people at? Are they afraid to speak up? Are they afraid to tell people what's going on? Because it's just a horrifying thing to go through. It's a horrible experience to be gang stalked and harassed by complete strangers when you're just going out minding your business and you have society constantly harassing you. I just want to know, why aren't more TIs speaking out and coming out if this is just, if there's millions of us? Where's everybody at?
I see them all over Facebook a lot. But I think a lot of people, they don't want to publicly say anything because they know what happens. They could end up in a mental hospital. They could end up targeted harder, more. It tends to increase the targeting when it, pisses off the handlers or whoever's doing it. But at the same time, the more people that come forward, the more, they help everybody else. And, you help the world beyond targeted individuals to, you know, really understand what's going on. And it puts a light and kind of a mirror in front of the faces of the perpetrators so they can kind of see what everyone thinks of them. And maybe that'll deter them a little bit more. But um, yeah, so you go through gang stalking, you said?
Yes, I go through gang stalking. Um, I've gotten no help, no support from anybody. Yes, I go through gang stalking everywhere I go. It's like walking into a room and everybody knows you, or everybody knows your face. I go through gang stalking, I go through harassment, I go through noise campaigns, I go through a lot of gaslighting, people knowing my whereabouts, people knowing what I'm doing. As far as throwing someone into a mental hospital, if that's the goal, how can you throw someone into a mental hospital if they're not in danger to themselves or to anybody else in society? If these people are just going out, minding their business and not bothering anyone or hurting anyone or causing any type of turmoil in anybody else's life, why? I don't understand why the target of a person, like for instance myself, I go out and I care for people. I'm a nurse assistant, so I go out and care for your mom, care for your dad, care for your aunt, care for your uncle, and at the same time I'm being harassed and called names and targeted. And I know that they say that sometimes family members can be involved in your targeting as well, but who in God's earth would want to be involved in something like this to expose one innocent children to this? This is exactly how kids can end up being missed or being found actually dead because you have random strangers following you and harassing you and knowing the whereabouts of our children. I mean, to me, this is like serious. So I don't understand why someone would decide that they're just going to start messing with Nicole. Okay, you see that lady there? Nobody likes her. So let's just start harassing her, calling her names, threatening her, following her, staging car accidents, and doing everything possible to drive her insane or to a mental hospital or maybe even perhaps suicidal. I just don't understand the goal and the reason behind doing this to anybody.
Yeah,
What is the purpose?
ridiculous. I
What is the purpose behind stalking another soul on this planet? How can you wake up each morning and say you're a decent human being and and just start harassing people or work mobbing people so it make it difficult for them to work, or trying to break up a marriage or a relationship so to break families apart? What do you get out of it, harassing and terrorizing a person?
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
understand it.
I agree with you.
Can you help me understand it?
Well, from hearing other people's testimonies, it seems that they primarily target outspoken individuals, people that are spiritual, highly religious, people that are high intelligence, that are, supposedly or, considered a threat to the system of lies, of control. And some female targets are targeted because of human trafficking, mind control, beta sex kitten programming. Uh, and other targets are targeted because of specific personality traits, characteristics that they're intuitive, they're outgoing, extroverted, feelers instead of thinkers, stuff like that. But I mean, thinkers and feelers get targeted, and I'm talking about the Myers-Briggs type indicator, the personality typing system. But there's a whole bunch of reasons why people get targeted. And it could even be just research and development, or getting into the spiritual nature, demonic entities, extra governmental, shadow governmental, elitist secret societies. I don't think there's any one reason why they would target people. It's definitely happening in most, if not all, countries on Earth. And a lot of the fear and trauma aspects of it are for mind control. It is satanic ritual abuse and fear and trauma based mind control. And when they get you isolated, it helps with that mind control if they can get you to, believe that your family members, the people closest to you, are involved in the targeting. That's one of their main.
Well, it's not a matter of them getting you to believe that. Some family members may be recruited into doing this type of behavior because, sometimes I think that my husband, for one, could be possibly involved. It could be a person that he's, seeing on the side. There's so many different scenarios that I'm constantly thinking about, like, who could possibly be doing this to me? Because as I'm being targeted, I'm told to get out or to go away, or that my husband could do better without me, or to leave my home, go somewhere else, or relocate. Why? Why so much interested? Why are people so interested in my life, or whether I should stay married to the person that I'm with now? I mean, if he's unhappy, he knows how to file for a divorce and go on about his business or take whatever his so-called freedom. If he's not no longer happy with me, goodbye. Because who wants to live like this? I'd rather he leave. I'd rather he go out and restart his life. If he wants to reclaim his life with someone else, do just that. but don't sit here and constantly have society harass me and exploit any of my kids or any of my grandkids, which are underage, or any of my nieces and nephews, to such an evil targeting harassment smear campaign. Don't sit there and work together with a side chick or any other person on a side and call yourself a decent human being and continue to try to gaslight me to get a reaction, a negative reaction, to cause me to kick, scream, punch, yell, or whatever, because I'm tired of it. It's like some family members could actually be involved in this.
Yeah.
But why would a family member be involved in gang stalking? I don't understand it. Who draws this much attention to their own family?
Well, that's one of the main points that I make to a lot of TIs because there's a fine line between them actually being involved and the state of the art deceptive, manipulative tactics that are being used by those that are involved to make you think that they are because they want to get you to isolate yourself. And, that's all part of the, you know, forcing you to commit suicide or, taking over your mind slowly with the mind control. So I have to ask, um, aside from the targeting, before the targeting, and even now, um, you thinking that your husband's involved, does it appear on the surface that, everything is fine with your husband other than that?
No, it's been no contact to me because I'm at my wit's end as far as, like I was saying, if you are a targeted individual and you're being gang stalked, that in and of itself is enough. Now, if you're in a relationship, I've heard where that there was a married couple. I listened to some videos online where there was a married couple and he wanted to get revenge with his wife so he can make her look delusional or crazy or crazier, so he could prove to the courts that she's crazy, so I don't know, so he could get custody or whatever the motive is. All I'm saying is God knows. God sits high and he looks low and he knows everybody's motive. I'm just saying, if that is his motive, I'd rather he leave, go away, like leave me alone. Because guess what? I'm already going through hell. I can't imagine it's getting any worse. So, if he decides to leave, that would be a blessing to me if he is involved in something like this. Because to me, to do this to a person, it really means that you hate them because you want them psychologically destroyed. You don't want them to think for themselves. You want them psychologically destroyed. And you don't even love your kids if you would be part of something like this because you're doing that to their mother. So you would want their mother to be at their best mentally. So to me, that's not love. So yes, it has driven gang stalk. It has really driven a wedge between the two of us because if I see that you're exhibiting the same behavior as the gang stalkers, it leads me to believe that you have some involvement.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I just know that, whoever is doing this has more power and more resources than any individuals do. So they must be working with them knowingly, or they're being remotely influenced beyond their awareness. And, it's kind of like how demons operate, the stories of demons and how they can influence your thoughts and emotions. That's basically what the government can do, or whoever's doing this, if they're government or not. And, it's basically demonic, demonic activity. But with
To
the,
me, if to me, you have the right word for it. It feels like a demonic spirit. It's like because of the behavior from the people. So, like, these people can't tell me anything because they can't even tell me anything about my behavior, even though I may appear to be bipolar sometimes with my anger issues. Because if you're going through this, it can really make you angry. Because if you think that somebody that supposedly love you, that's supposed to be close to you, to put you through hell with complete strangers. It can make you angry and lash out at the person that you think is could be behind or involved in this. So I'm working on myself in that area. So I'm keeping my hands to myself. So I'm not attacking my husband for going through this hellish of a program, and thinking that he has some involvement in it. So I just realized that, you know, doing anything, um, doing anything like verbal attacks or being aggressive or having any type of violent behavior, that does not help because it's like feeding into what the people want. Like they want you to be at your worst. They want to keep you at your worst. They want you to be angry. They want you to be bitter. They want you to be at your lowest in life. Like if you even if you try to improve yourself in a certain area, if you try to lose weight, they want you to overeat so you can get sick and die. If you drink alcohol, if you got a problem with alcohol, they want you to overdrink so you can be an alcoholic and get cirrhosis of the liver and die. If whatever it is that you are doing, they want to take whatever that bad habit is and keep you at that, or anything that can ensnare you or keep you down and out. That's what the people want. So it is demonic because, like when my mom died, she always wanted me at my best. But I feel like I have a group of people that works at trying to psychologically keep me down and keep me at my worst. You have a bunch of people working against you and undermining everything that you even try to do in life, from working to doing anything positive. It's just there to just keep all this negative energy around you. So I have to do a lot of things in my life to try to kind of counteract that, because it's really demonic to try to drive a person to suicide or make them appear to be more insane or go insane. That's really demonic to me.
I absolutely agree with you. Definitely
I went
agree.
to the casino and I was in the bathroom, and I was using the bathroom, and I actually heard a lady say, "Go crazy, go crazy." She was gaslighting me, telling me to pretty much go crazy. That to me is insane. That to me is crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy to even tell someone that. I just don't understand it. And can you explain to some people what exactly is a handler? Because some people, this it may be happening to some people, and they don't understand why all this misfortune or why all these people are harassing them. What exactly is a handler? Because I hear that term. Who is a handler, and who could be a handler in your life?
Well, I'm not an expert on it, but the first instance that I've heard about handlers is through like the Illuminati celebrities. They say that, certain celebrities, whether they're Illuminati or not, they have a lot of power and influence with the people. And so, like, somebody could make a post or a video that's a celebrity, and then millions of people will, interact with it. So they need to handle these people. They need to handle whoever is too powerful and influential, like a public figure or celebrity, especially if they are, a threat or a risk factor for, saying too much about anything illicit, illegal, evil, wrong going on. And so they assign them what's called handlers. And the first times I heard about it was CIA handlers, but they call them Illuminati handlers, elite handlers, just handlers in general, satanic handlers. And these would be people that, from what I heard, monitor all their activity. And this is back in the day, just total surveillance. But nowadays, they have brain computer interface. We have the ability to, you know, go right inside someone's head and, see their thoughts, see out of their eyes like their cameras, hear out of their ears like their microphones, and then just see everything that they're doing at any time. go inside their dreams, manipulate their dreamscapes, and a lot of the female TIs, their so-called handlers are, trafficking them in their sleep. They go into, they're not really dreams; they're more like simulations, kind of like the Divergent series, the movies, or Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio. And they can do this from a distance and basically, control your dream like a virtual reality simulation, and it's full sensory. So they can take the form of your husband, your boyfriend, your crush, wife, girlfriend, etc., and just kind of engage sexually with you, and you would just not be fully conscious in the first place. But let's say you're somewhat conscious, you're not going to have your guard up because it's somebody that you normally have sexual interactions with. And this is how they get away with it, human trafficking from a distance. And um, but there's obviously there's these barriers, in women and men where in terms of sexuality, where they're not going to do certain things. So this Project Beta Sex Kitten from the CIA, which was one of the MK Ultra projects, um, they figured out how to break down a woman or a man and basically, reprogram them or create what's called dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality disorder. And one of the main things that they need, or two, are fear and trauma, or this trauma-based mind control. And so when they gang stalk you around, they're traumatizing you and they're isolating you, getting you to, not believe in anybody. They can alter their voices with the voice to skull, or, it's not called voice to skull anymore, but, you know, synthetic telepathy, microwave sound, voice of God weapons, demonic telepathy, whatever. And they can sound like a family member, they can sound like a friend, they can sound like anybody they want to, just like demons can do. And so they can easily manipulate, unwitting targets, unknowing about this stuff, and make them think that somebody they know is involved, which is one thing that I always tell TIs, because they want you isolated, they want you alone because it's easier to program you. It's easier to. They're using neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, conversational hypnosis, sleight of mouth tactics, and weaponized psychology, which are state of the art, verbal mind control programming techniques. And they do what's called psychic driving, which is also part of the MK Ultra project, where they just repeat the same hypnotic neurolinguistic programming, hypnotic suggestions into your mind over and over and over to brainwash you. So, they don't even need to repeat. If something is slick enough, they could, if they want to make you think that, your own mother's involved, they could say, they could use your mother's voice in your head. They could, pretend to have a conversation with your mother in her head next to you, or, whatever they want to do, make you think that you heard your mother say something that would, tip you off that they're involved, and, with them right next to you, and you don't see her lips moving, and you don't know, you think that it's real. So they know all these techniques, all these tactics to use on targets. They've been doing it for quite some time. So that's one of their main tactics because they want you alone and isolated, because then they can just nail you with these techniques over and over. But let me just explain to you and everybody else out there exactly how fear and trauma is used, the satanic ritual abuse, to split the mind and create these alters, these multiple personalities, this dissociative identity disorder, which is very well known in the celebrities that have handlers, as they say. It's basically really simple. You split the mind by using fear and trauma and abuse. The person, like a child, withdraws from reality. You just can't take it anymore, so you go into like a trance-like state. And in this trance-like state, withdrawn from reality, your mind is open for hypnotic suggestion, and you can't think clearly. So that's when they nail you with all this, psychic driving and repetitive programming over and over and over again. And on top of that, let's say I have an example. Um, this woman went on our forum, which is tcti.proboards.com, proboards, by the way, if anybody wants to go on to it. If you go into experiences and observations section and share what you hear here, you'll see a list or a bunch of posts from different people of exactly what they've heard repeated into their heads in quotes. And some of the things that she said are evidence, 100% smoking gun evidence of how they do the programming to create this multiple personality disorder. And what they were doing was repeating things like, Lyra, Lyra, look in the mirror, see a little clearer. And what this did was every time she looked in the mirror became like a hypnotic trigger, an object that made her think of this multiple personality Lyra that they were slowly programming. They would say like, "You're not Lyra. Lyra is a personality. We made you, or we made Lyra." And like they'd repeat that over and over again because then that programs in her mind that there's somebody else that she is or isn't, but that exists inside of her mind, another personality named Lyra. You need a new credit card because they're implying that you know it's the wrong name on her card. So it may seem like this is nothing, but repeating these things over and over in a hypnotic, suggestible state slowly creates multiple personality disorder. And then why do they do this? Because whether in person, physically, through a phone call, a text message, direct voice in your head to trigger the switch of personality, or in your dreams in the simulation, they can trigger you to become that personality. And now, what is different about that personality? That personality does what it's programmed to do. They remove systematically all instincts, all blockages, all things that could get in the way of sexual related things. It's how they create assassins, sleeper agents, super soldiers, different celebrities and public officials that they want to fulfill some kind of role. Um, They've used it for, spies that have gone overseas or, went undercover. So that way, if they get captured and tortured, they are a different personality. So they don't remember anything about who they are, only what the identity or personality that they programmed knows. So they compartmentalize these personalities. And, so that way there's no real access to who you really are while you're that personality. And it's basically programming multiple personality disorder. But that's how they, take advantage. That's one of the main goals for, female targets that, have these types of manipulated dreams where they're in a hotel room with a random stranger, or, have repetitive sexual dreams with a partner or something like that. It's because they have brain computer interfaces, so they're able to interact with the person from a distance and experience everything, all the senses, and they can trigger this beta sex kitten personality type, and the person is not themselves anymore. Now they're the you know complete sexual. I hate to say this, but kind of freak or whatever, the animal-like nature that they program them to have as that personality. So you got to be careful. You don't want to be, letting their fear and trauma, dissociate you from reality. And, you
Yeah, I understand
gotta,
everything that you're saying, but as far as me being a target, my main thing is yes, they do play psychological mind games. Yes, it's a psychological systematic way of abusing a person. But the primary things that they do to me is pretty much the gang stalking. um I don't know about any of the voices to skull or hearing voices or any such things. I'm not
okay.
going through any of that, but not to say that it's not happening. But my primary thing is just me being systematically abused mentally, psychologically by people, whether they're gaslighting or repeating something that I said or repeating something that I did, or just copying, it's almost like copying me, or doing any type of gesturing, just any type of objects, anything that they can use, or any resources or any tactics that they can use to mess with a person, um, psychologically, and they'll use all of their resources that they have available to mess with that targeted individual. Anything from all of our devices are hacked, from TV to radio to phones to whatever has a Wi-Fi connection. The people can use to find a way to systematically abuse their target. So I'm not seeing that, I hear any type of voices. No, I don't. The only voices that I hear is coming from the people that are actually harassing me or gaslighting me, one-on-one people that I come in contact with, whether it's at work or out or outside in society. I hear those people. I hear, what I'm doing repeated, back at me, or I hear people, involved in various aspects of my life. And that's from monitoring and watching me. So, of course, you're going to know what that person is doing or what that person is about if you're tied into this program. So, um, as far as all of the devices that's used against me, I would say this to any TI. If you are a TI, you would know you're a TI, because your life would be like spinning out of control, or you have a bunch of demonic forces doing everything that they possibly can to drive you insane, or to even try to drive you to suicide. And they will systematically harass you and torment you, psychologically. And what I do to try to counteract that, I do something positive. Like, I write songs. I'm a songwriter, and my Christian music is based on my religion. So I write a lot of songs about God. I try to remain positive. I try to go to the gym. I try to open up my Bible and read my Bible. And I have to remind myself that no matter what the people do, or no matter what this program is designed to do, no matter what weapons that they use, no matter what people that they use, no matter how many people are involved or doing this to me, I can proclaim that no weapon formed against me is going to prosper physically, mentally, or emotionally. So I have to, shut myself down and, um, connect myself to a higher power that's greater than what these people are out here, um, doing to me. So I would say, if you're a TI, to connect to God, connect to a higher power, because it's demonic. It's demonic people, doing the biddings of Satan to try to drive a person to suicide. That's not inspired by God. That's not inspired by the Holy Spirit. So it's all, negative energy, people that want you at your worst. So it has driven me to Christ. It has driven me on my knees. It has, caused me to look to God for, to save me and to give me the strength and the ability to go through this, harassment, this torture, this psychological abuse in every way. So I would say, go to God, to anybody that's experiencing any type of trauma or any type of, abuse by the people, from the people, or from we the people, whatever you want to call these people. But I can only look to God in my case for strength. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I can only look to God for strength to get through whatever it is I'm going through, Um, if my husband is involved, that's between him and God. God sits high and looks low. He knows the heart's motives, he knows the intentions, he knows the people behind it, and he knows, why it's happening to you, and the reason why it's happening to you. And That's my only answer. Anybody that's a TI, that's a targeted individual, do not allow these people to drive you insane. Do not allow these people, don't give them the benefit of the doubt to take your own life, to cause you to commit suicide. Do not allow these people to change you in any way, in a negative way. They want you to be at your worst. Continue to strive to be your best and do your best, look your best, act your best, because they want you to be at your lowest. So you just do the opposite than what they want, and remain rooted and grounded in your Bible. If you believe in God, reach out to Him, because that's my only answer to something that's demonic, something with this type of influence behind it to target a person. There's so much evil that's going on in the world. To sit back and target a person and try to drive that person insane is just, it's beyond demonic. I mean, this is a program that should be used on perhaps a terrorist. Like, if you want to track down what a terrorist is doing, going into our schools with innocent children, setting bombs, blowing up the school, this should be a program that's used for a terrorist that go on an airplane and want to end people's millions or hundreds of people's lives and cause the plane to crash. But to do this to American citizens, that's just going on about their life, going to work, getting up and going to work, and striving to do their best and live their best lives, to target them, to follow them, to harass them, to psychologically abuse them, and to try to drive them to suicide, or to take whatever it is that they're already maybe doing wrong and to try to cause them to commit a crime, or continue to try to set them up or set a snare for their feet so they can get in trouble or be psychologically considered crazy, into a mental hospital, or sent to some type of a prison. Um, I think it's sickening. I think it's a disgrace before God, and only God can help us if you are a target. So only God can help me. So only thing I'm going to say is, no weapon formed against me is going to prosper. No matter what you do, no matter how you do it, if you continue on with it, it's not going to prosper. Those are not my words, those are God's words. No matter how you come against me, no matter how long you come against me, no matter how many people you continue to have torment me or psychologically harass me or tell me to leave or tell me to go away or tell me to get out, no matter what you say, no matter what name calls, no matter what tactics, no matter what psychological tactics you use against me, it's all going to fall. It's never going to work, and it's not going to prosper. So the people are just wasting their time because they're not fighting me. The system is wasting their time because they're not fighting me. They're fighting the God that stands before me and goes before me to make the crooked path straight. That's what they're up against. They're not coming against me at all. They're coming against the God in me that goes before me to protect me from any demonic resources or any demonic person that's behind this, or any handlers or any females or whoever or whatever. They will not prevail. And that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it there. Like, they will not prevail.
Good. I agree with you 100%. And that honestly, that might be one of the reasons why they're targeting you because of your beliefs and your ability to, um, artistically formulate and spread a message through your music.
Yeah, I do. I write gospel. I write gospel, and I start putting my songs on, iTunes and CD Baby, and that's just where I go. That's what I do. I like to do. I like to write gospel, and that's like a positive outlet that I use to, helped me get through. And when my mom died, they harassed me. These people don't care. They don't care about human life. When my mom was dying with cancer in the hospital, they didn't care nothing about what I was going through. They were coming in the room still gaslighting me, calling me trash, and these are professional nurses. I mean, I was being tormented as I was sitting there watching my mother die. There were hackers going in my mom's TV, hacked onto her TV at the hospital. So these people are monitoring you, they're watching you, they're hacked into all of our devices, watching you, letting you know pretty much what's going on. And there was a thing on YouTube where a little girl was in her room, and the hacker was like right hacked onto her TV, telling the little girl what she was doing. This was like the Ring camera. And how come that family got some type of vindication, but these people can come into my life and I get no vindication? Where's my help? My help comes from the Lord, but where's the person that's going to stand up with enough integrity to say, "Hey, how does this happen? What is happening to these people, and the way this is happening is wrong." Where's the person that's going to stand up and fight for us? Where where is that person at? That's what I want to know.
There's been so many,
You can't
honestly,
you
but
can't go
they
to a
don't
lawyer.
last long.
You can't go to a lawyer. You can't go to a police officer. You can't go to the FBI. Where can you go? Because this program is international. It's global. So there's no one out there to help TIs get through this type of torment.
Exactly. I agree. There's been many people that have tried, but they don't last very long.
I don't understand it. Tried what? What do you mean many people have tried what? To get help?
Well, there's been many government whistleblowers, people in the CIA, FBI, DoD, DARPA, private security companies that have come forward, and they either get targeted themselves or they end up dead.
This is totally insane. This is it's not funny, but it feels like you're in a movie. This is totally insane.
Yep, we got a couple people I can mention. Ted Gunderson of the FBI. He was the director in Los Angeles Division for 2 decades, and he started the counterintelligence program and the Amber Alert program. He used to gang stalk people. He even referred to it as gang stalking, and he targeted Martin Luther King Jr. Himself, and it came out and admitted to it and apologized for it. He said that he spread all these rumors about Martin Luther King Jr. and all these lies to mess up his life. And when he came forward talking about, how this is a satanic operation, that there's Illuminati and child trafficking and sex trafficking in general going on in this program, and that CIA is involved and the FBI and like upper echelons of power, he got targeted and he was getting gang stalked. And then, he passed away not too long later. But he was up on the stage in public, announcements, meetings, you name it, all over the place, telling everybody this is a satanic movement, this is Illuminati. He literally used those words and said there's child trafficking and all this satanic ritual abuse, and he fully called it out. He fully exposed it.
But I understand what you're saying, but there's countless. You go on YouTube, there's countless of videos saying the same exact thing. Where are you going to go kill millions of people? There's count. I can type in gang stalking. There's video after video after video saying that the cops won't help them, the FBI won't help them, nobody in law enforcement will help anybody that's a target. What are you going to do? Go out and kill all those people?
Well,
It's insane.
well, the thing is, people either in on it themselves or they don't know who's doing it. But
I don't know who's doing
many
this to
people.
me, but only thing I know is God knows. I don't know who's doing it. It could be the government. It could be the lady next door. I don't know. And at this point, I'm not going to say I don't care, but all I know is I have to use my faith and say that no weapon, and I'm covering not only myself, I'm covering my kids, I'm covering my grandkids, I'm covering my family members, anybody that's under my umbrella. All of those people are protected by God because I'm a mother who prays for all of my kids and all of my grandkids to be protected by a higher power, which I consider God, Jesus Christ, my personal savior. And it doesn't matter. I mean, threaten me, threaten to kill me, threaten to turn my lights out, threaten to shoot me, threaten to um, tell me to go home, tell me to go to the other side. Say what you got to say, do what you got to do, because this program is not bigger than God. I don't care who you are. I don't care what government position you're in. I don't care about your threats. I don't care if I die today because I know where my soul is anchored. But I'm not going to allow these people to um, terrorize me, to make me live in fear, to harass me, or to move me from left to right, up or down, or in any direction. I'm not leaving. So tell me to go away, tell me to get out. I'm not moving. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not moving. I'm not moving away, nowhere whatsoever. Like if my husband wants to leave, that's on him. I'm happy to him. God bless you. Have a good life. But I'm done with this program. I'm done with being tormented. I'm done with these, whoever the officials are. I'm just so done with the entire thing. I'm just living my life one day at a time by God's grace. And if the devil's army want to keep coming for me, want to keep antagonizing me and attacking me, do what you got to do. Do what y'all got to do. Y'all being in, you know who you are. Y'all know who y'all are. Do what you got to do. Take your best shot because God goes before me, and that's all I got to say. I mean, I'll pray for anybody else that's going through this. Hopefully, they'll turn to God because that's their only way out. And I pray that it's not suicide or it's not by the hands of any of these demonic forces that want to. And first of all, who are the people that can decide that they're going to decide to play God for one to determine the lifespan of an individual person? Who are these people that can decide that they're going to play God? That's why when they tried to shoot Donald Trump, that's why God stepped in and intervened. They couldn't even kill him. That shows you that there's a divine intervention there. No one can kill me. No one can take my life or turn off my lights or send me to the other side unless God Himself allows it. So I'm not afraid of any of you people. So you're wasting your time, you're wasting your resources because I have a God that's greater than you. That's all I have to say.
Well, I think you said everything. Said it all. I agree with you on all of that. Well, I want to thank you for giving your testimony, and on behalf of everybody, I hope that it will help other people. I'm sure it will, and um, it's important for anybody listening. That's also a TI to speak out, to not be afraid, to not let them get to you, and have her mentality, because her mentality is the survivor mentality, and it's beyond survival. It's really, salvation, what really matters. And so come forward, and hopefully let
Exactly.
the others.
Exactly. All right. I'm glad I was able to, drive people, whoever hears my voice, find God, because this is demonic and this is our only hope is in God.
Exactly. Thank you, Nicole, for giving your
You're
testimony.
welcome.
I'm
Okay.
gonna
Thank
upload it
you.
to our channel, and I'm gonna send you the link.
Okay. God bless you.
You too.
Bye bye.